There comes a point in a man's life when he stops trying to be seen and simply becomes someone who is worth noticing. For most men, this realization arrives slowly, but for the Sigma male, especially as he grows older, it arrives almost without his awareness. The Sigma never lived his life by society's script, and as the years shape him, he moves even further into a rhythm that is authentically his own. He doesn't adjust his personality to fit into groups. He doesn't chase the trends. Other men follow. And he doesn't spend his days trying to impress anyone. But what he often doesn't realize is that this quiet evolution, this deepening into himself, creates a presence that younger women find surprisingly magnetic. Not because he advertises his maturity, but because it radiates from him in a way that doesn't demand attention. Many older Sigma males assume they've become invisible to younger women. Yet the opposite is often true. It's the calmness they carry, the certainty in their posture, the absence of frantic energy, the complete lack of neediness. Younger women today navigate a world full of overstimulation, where people speak quickly, react impulsively, and seek validation constantly. So encountering a man who moves with intentional slowness, who listens more than he talks, who holds himself with quiet dignity, it creates a contrast that's impossible not to notice. The Sigma male doesn't try to be mysterious, but his solitude makes him so. He doesn't aim to be wise, but his years have taught him lessons that younger men haven't lived long enough to understand. He doesn't try to stand out, but his calm detachment does that for him. And for younger women, this combination becomes more than attractive. It becomes grounding. They see a man who is not in competition with the world, a man who has nothing to prove, a man whose validation comes from within, not from the shifting opinions of strangers. It is this effortless, quiet energy that pulls them in. And the Sigma male, who never acts with the intention to attract, often doesn't realize how deeply these traits resonate. He moves through life believing he is simply being himself. But through being himself, he becomes a presence younger women can feel, even before they fully understand why. So today, we break down the 6 things older Sigma males don't realize naturally attract younger women, not through performance, not through effort, but through the lived truth of who they are. Point 1, his naturally slow, grounded energy. One of the most magnetic traits of older Sigma males is the way they move through the world with an unhurried, grounded rhythm. This isn't laziness, it's mastery of energy. When he was younger, he may have rushed to meet expectations, chased opportunities impulsively, or tried to match the pace of the environment around him. But with age, something shifts. The Sigma male begins to understand that speed is not the same as progress, and urgency is not the same as importance. He carries himself with a deliberate steadiness that younger women recognize as emotional maturity. In a world filled with overstimulation, constant notifications, fast-paced social media, impulsive decisions, his slowness becomes a refuge. His movements are intentional, his decisions are thoughtful, his reactions are controlled. He doesn't rush to fill silence, doesn't feel pressured to give immediate answers, and doesn't allow external chaos to dictate his internal state. Younger women pick up on this instantly. His calmness makes him feel safe, his steadiness makes him feel stable, and his unhurried pace makes him feel trustworthy. Where younger men often try to prove something, older Sigmas feel no need to compete with noise. They move at the tempo of wisdom. Their energy is like a deep river, steady, powerful, and unforced. And younger women find themselves instinctively drawn to this quiet masculinity. They rarely meet it in their daily interactions, so when it appears, it feels rare, it feels refreshing, and it feels deeply masculine. The older Sigma doesn't put on a calm persona to attract anyone. His energy simply reflects decades of inner alignment, and this grounded presence becomes an unintentional magnet. Point 2, his silence feels comfortable, not tense. Older Sigma. Males possess a unique relationship with silence. For most people, silence feels uncomfortable. They rush to fill it with noise, small talk, jokes, or chatter. But for the Sigma, especially with age, silence becomes a natural part of his presence. It is not awkward. It is not defensive. It is simply a reflection of inner peace. When he is quiet, he is not withdrawing. He is observing, processing, thinking. Silences with him feel soothing rather than heavy. Younger women pick up on this immediately. They sense that his silence is not a pressure, not a test, and not a sign of disinterest. It is simply who he is, and this comfort with silence is deeply attractive because it communicates a rare level of emotional security. He doesn't need to perform. He doesn't need constant stimulation. He doesn't need validation through noise. Younger women experience something unusual around him. They relax. They stop feeling the need to impress. They stop feeling the need to talk endlessly. They find themselves opening up without being asked, simply because his silent presence feels safe enough for vulnerability. His silence creates space, not tension, and that space allows deeper connection to emerge. Older Sigma males don't realize how powerful this is. Younger women often say things like, "I feel comfortable around you," or "I don't feel judged when I'm quiet with you," without realizing they are verbalizing attraction. Silence becomes a bridge, a warmth, a sanctuary, and the Sigma walks through life unaware that his quietness is one of the loudest things younger women admire. Point 3, his experience shows without boasting. Younger women are sharp observers. They can sense life experience not by what a man says, but by how he behaves, how he responds, and how he carries himself. Older Sigma males rarely talk about their accomplishments. They don't list achievements, brag about their careers, or recount their hardships in an attempt to earn respect. Their experience shows quietly in their posture, their confidence, their emotional restraint, and their decision-making. Younger women immediately feel the difference between a man who has and a man who is merely pretending. When the Sigma speaks, he speaks slowly, thoughtfully, with intention. His words carry weight because they come from a place of authenticity. He doesn't exaggerate, doesn't try to impress, and doesn't engage in unnecessary competition. His life experience shows in his ability to solve problems calmly, set boundaries firmly, and navigate conflict without aggression or insecurity. Younger women are drawn to this because it radiates competence. Not loud competence, but a quiet, stable kind. A competence that feels reliable. Many younger women grow tired of immaturity in men their own age, flakiness, impulsiveness, emotional volatility, and a lack of direction. When they encounter the older Sigma, the contrast is striking. He feels like a man who has already fought his battles, learned his lessons, and refined himself. He is not experimenting with who he wants to be. He knows who he is. And younger women are instinctively attracted to this level of self-awareness. They see a man who is solid, grounded, and unshakable. And the Sigma, unaware of this magnetism, simply continues living his life with quiet integrity. Point 4, his emotional stability is rare. Older Sigma males have something that is becoming increasingly uncommon: emotional stability. They have lived enough life to process their insecurities, face their flaws, and understand their triggers. They no longer operate from ego or impulse. They respond rather than react. They listen more than they speak. They process emotions rather than projecting them. And this creates a powerful sense of safety. Younger women often find themselves dealing with men who are still emotionally unrefined, easily angered, easily hurt, easily threatened, and easily pushed into extremes. But the older Sigma has weathered storms. He has experienced loss, change, breakups, challenges, hardships, and victories. He has been tested, and those tests have shaped him into someone who does not crumble under pressure. Younger women recognize this stability immediately. It is not the absence of emotion, it is the presence of control. He doesn't shut down, he doesn't lash out, he doesn't manipulate. He stands firm both emotionally and psychologically. This stability is attractive because it feels safe. Safe to express emotions, safe to communicate honestly, safe to be imperfect, safe to reveal one's inner world. And yet, the Sigma male rarely sees this as a form of attraction. To him, it is simply maturity, something earned through time and hardship. But younger women see it as a rare gift, something they long for in a partner, but seldom find among men their age. His emotional consistency creates trust, and trust is the foundation of attraction that goes beyond surface level. Point 5, his independence feels inspiring. Older Sigma males often live lives that are built on independence, emotionally, financially, socially, and psychologically. This independence is not aggressive or isolating. It is the result of years spent learning to rely on oneself, build one's own path, and find fulfillment without needing constant companionship. Younger women find this deeply attractive because it communicates strength. A man who can stand alone is a man who can also stand with someone, not out of neediness, but out of choice. The Sigma's independence shows in subtle ways: the way he maintains his routine, the way he respects his personal time, the way he manages his responsibilities, and the way he does not depend on others for his happiness or identity. Younger women admire this because it contrasts sharply with dependency-driven relationships they may have experienced before. They see a man who has his own hobbies, his own vision, his own values, and his own rhythm. A man who will not suffocate them with insecurity or cling to them for emotional validation. The Sigma's independence is inspiring because it reflects mastery of self. It shows discipline, it shows maturity, and it shows that the Sigma has built a life that someone can join, not rescue. Younger women intuitively sense that a relationship with such a man will be a partnership, not a burden. And they feel drawn to that dynamic, even if the Sigma remains unaware of the effect he has. Point 6, his masculine presence is unforced. One of the most attractive qualities of older Sigma males is their unforced masculinity. They do not perform masculinity, they embody it. It is not loud, it is not aggressive, it is not controlling. It is a quiet, steady strength that radiates without effort. Younger women feel this immediately. They sense it in his posture, his voice, the way he occupies space, the way he handles challenges, the way he responds to disrespect, and the way he maintains self-control. Many younger men project a kind of forced masculinity, trying to appear dominant, confident, or alpha. But the Sigma does not try. He simply is. And the authenticity of that presence is deeply attractive. Younger women feel subtly protected around him, not because he tries to be protective, but because his energy is stable, rational, and grounded. He does not seek validation from women. He does not compete for attention. He does not exaggerate his strengths. He carries a masculinity shaped by discipline, solitude, and years of self-reflection. It is the kind of masculinity that is calm, firm, and deeply rooted. And younger women find themselves drawn to it because it feels mature and real, not performative or childish. The Sigma male rarely notices the impact of this presence. To him, it is just the natural result of becoming a man who understands himself. But younger women interpret it as rare masculine confidence. Point 7, his standards are high, not harsh. Older Sigma males develop standards over time, not just in relationships, but also in friendships, environments, habits, and the energy they allow into their lives. These standards are not rigid demands. They are simply expressions of self-respect earned through life experience. Younger women find this incredibly attractive because it reflects a man who values himself and refuses to settle for chaos, disrespect, or immaturity. His standards show in the way he communicates. He does not tolerate games, manipulation, or emotional instability. He does not stay in situations that drain him. He does not pursue people who do not reciprocate effort or respect. And he does not compromise his peace for temporary gratification. Younger women admire this because it feels mature, stable, and protective. Not in a controlling way, but in a grounded, self-assured way. His standards are clear, but not cruel. Firm, but not rigid. They are simply the boundaries of a man who has learned to protect his energy, his time, and his emotional well-being. Many younger women long for this kind of clarity in relationships. They are drawn to the Sigma because his standards create structure, not pressure, and structure feels safe. The Sigma rarely recognizes this attraction because he does not express his standards to impress anyone. He expresses them to maintain the peace he has earned through experience. But younger women notice, and they are drawn to the maturity those standards reflect. Point 8, his purposeful life gives him a magnetic aura. Older Sigma males radiate quiet purpose. This purpose is not always tied to career or success. It can be found in their personal projects, their routines, their fitness, their growth, their hobbies, or their mission in life. A man with purpose moves differently. He is focused, he is disciplined, he is self-directed. And younger women find this magnetic because it reflects a man who knows where he is going. Purpose creates gravity. It pulls people in. Younger women observe the Sigma's lifestyle and sense a man who is not drifting aimlessly. He has structure, he has direction, he has momentum. A purposeful man is rare, especially one who stays consistent with age. The Sigma's purpose gives him an aura that younger women find inspiring. They may not fully understand it, but they feel it. It feels like leadership without dominance, strength without aggression, ambition without desperation, and most importantly, a life that is already fulfilling before anyone enters it. The Sigma does not try to be impressive. He simply lives with intention. And this intention shines through everything he does, creating a natural, quiet magnetism. Younger women feel drawn to that sense of direction because it offers stability, clarity, and emotional safety. And again, the Sigma is often unaware his purpose is not a performance, it is his internal compass. And yet it becomes one of the strongest sources of attraction he possesses. And so, as you sit with these 8 quiet truths, you begin to see a pattern that older Sigma males rarely recognize in themselves. Attraction, at its highest form, is not something you chase. It is something you become. It grows out of the way you live, the way you think, the way you carry your history, and the way you honor your peace. Younger women are not drawn to the Sigma because he is older. They are drawn to him because he has depth, because he has lived long enough to understand himself, to master his reactions, and to walk away from anything that disrupts his inner balance. A Sigma's greatest magnetism lies in the fact that he does not try to be magnetic. His standards, his silence, his grounded pace, his wisdom, his emotional steadiness, all of these qualities form a quiet gravity that others feel before he ever speaks a word. And perhaps the most important realization is this: he did not develop these qualities to attract anyone. He developed them to survive, to grow, and to evolve. Attraction is merely the echo of that evolution. If you are an older Sigma male watching this, understand that nothing about you is accidental. Your calm is earned. Your independence is intentional. Your presence is sharpened by time. You have become the kind of man who no longer seeks validation because your life itself is the validation. And for those watching who resonate with this path, remember, you do not become a Sigma by imitating one. You become one by building yourself slowly, quietly, patiently, from the inside out. Thank you for spending this time reflecting with me. If this message resonated with you, stay with this journey. There is much more to uncover, much more to grow into, and much more of your own inner strength waiting to be claimed. Until next time, walk with intention, move with calm, and remain grounded in the man you are becoming.